So I went to a school in Colombia that it was all like all the narcos had their kids there, all the somebodies, the governors, the mayors, political people, cartel bosses. It
It's
was
like a private school.
It's a private school, but the thing is, it was crazy that everybody in that school pretty much had their own bodyguard, one or two.
Mm-hmm.
The higher that it went up the totem pole had more security. Pablo's kids went there. Griselda Blanco's kid went there. Michael. It was just all the somebody's kids went there. I remember in Colombia the power with the bodyguards. I remember being in the farms. These people got machine guns, and it's the whole farm. You have a militia. They're all around at all times. You know when you get taken somewhere, you have a driver, but then there's two cars following you. You know, and after a while, you're a kid. You take a liking to these people because you see them all the time. Sometimes you see them more than you see your parents because they're always in the property. They're always on the house. And I knew it was serious because in the farms, I remember the parties. Like back then, I remember like Jose Feliciano, all these big singers, Celia Cruz, all these people, the families, Pablo, Rafa, they would pay these people to come perform at the farms. And I remember being a kid and watching these, like these people later on when I grew up, that I got older, and I'm like, oh shit, Celia Cruz, she's the queen of this Spanish, and she would come frequently. So it becomes, you start seeing things, man, where when people talk and other people listen, people sit down when one person is talking. So I knew that I knew there was some gangster shit going on. We would never stay in the same house in Colombia for more than 3 days. We have multiple houses. So imagine being a kid and you want to play with G.I. Joes and things like that, but you have it in the other house, and then you have 4 different houses you live in. And, you're always going from one house to another house. I don't know. I guess as a kid, man, I was very, very smart. I learned quick that, you know what I mean? There was gangster shit going on.
Why do you guys come back to the U.S.?
My Uncle Rafa had a lot of businesses in Miami. For example, my Uncle Rafa had a very famous car dealership right off of Lejeune that they sold antique cars. They had a dry cleaning business. They had a cleaning business. It was to wash money.
Right. All this is used to do money laundering for the real business.
They couldn't, my uncle, with all due respect, my uncle could not get the money back to Colombia.
Right.
So normally you open a business, but you don't think it's going to be successful.
Right.
So you're trying to wash money, but now you're making millions of dollars, and you're trying to wash more money than what you're already making. My father being American, my uncle was like, look, come to Colombia. It was getting very hot. They were still trying to set everything up in Miami to do the pipeline. My father being from New York, from the Bronx, right? Being witty business. Back then, the Colombians only wanted to sell to their people or to doctors, people with money, lawyers. My father was like, no. He's like, why are we only selling to the somebodies or to our people? We need to sell to everybody. This is like a Coke or a Pepsi. So my father helped my uncle launder the money back to Colombia. Pretty much bring the money. Okay, we're making millions of dollars in Miami. Let's bring the money back. How are we going to get the money back from America to Colombia? My uncle opened a big furniture mattress business where they made mattresses. It's crazy because years later, I got into the mattress business. What they would do with mattresses is instead of putting coils and foam encasement, they would fill it up with money, and they would ship American-made mattresses back to Colombia, and that's when they would take off the mattresses, rip them, and get their money. We were living in Colombia till I was about 15, 16, and my uncle pretty much said, no, y'all need to go back to Miami. We need to take over Miami. Did that answer your question, Matt? Kind of.
So when but eventually you said you left Miami. I mean, you left Colombia and moved to Miami and just stayed there, right? Like after 16.
Yeah. I stayed in Miami
To go to a private school there, or did you just done with school?
No, I went to a private school, and then from the private school, later on in life, when my father went to prison, then that's when everything changed. I started going to public schools. And
So when how old were you when he went to prison?
I was young. I was young. I want to say I was maybe like 17. My father got indicted for a charge, but they didn't catch him for years. My father was on the run, I want to say for like maybe 8, 9 years. I would see my father, even though he wasn't there, he was there. You know what I mean? I remember we used to like go to different payphones, and my mom would have a bag with quarters. You know what I mean? And we would never use the same payphone twice.
Right.
And my mom would stand there. Sometimes she could get a call back, so we'll be there waiting, and my father would call, or we would call with quarters. It was shit like that.
So when you graduate high school?
Yeah.
When you graduate high school, like what's the plan for you going forward? Are you getting a job at Chick-fil-A and
No,
just a regular bus boy somewhere now? You're going on to college, become a CPA.
My father always used to tell me that there's two, either you could go to church, or if you get into this business, eventually you will go to prison. My father used to say it all the time. It was like graduating college. You know what I mean? We have a family member. He got pinched for some like he had a few pounds in the car, and he went to prison. And I remember when he got out, everybody like threw him a party, like if he went to college, like if he got a master's.
Right.
And I remember that from a young age, that I was like, he was like, play soccer, go to school, because this family business, eventually you will end up either going to prison or getting killed. You know what I mean? He would always explain it to me. My father was so blood raw and uncut with it that I knew that somehow, some way, I wanted the money. I wanted the money, and I wanted the power, for sure. Because I would see the way when my father would talk, people would listen.
So how did you enter the business?
Okay, so I got into the business, I don't want to say by mistake. I remember I had applied at Sizzlers. I don't even know if they still got those.
Sizzlers.
You remember Sizzlers?
I remember Sizzlers.
You remember
I
Sizzlers?
don't think you've never seen a Sizzler. I've never seen a Sizzler.
I haven't seen a Sizzler in
since I've
so
been out.
long.
They probably went under.
I remember I had applied at a Sizzlers, and they fired me like 3 days in. Fired me, and I'm like,
Why?
I don't even remember why. I think a lady had complained about her soup. She said the soup was too hot, and I remember I go and I bring her another soup, and I remember this shit like it was yesterday. It's crazy. I go and I bring her another soup, and she says it's still too hot, and I remember I grabbed a cup of water with ice in it, and I grabbed the ice and I put it in the soup, and she looked at me, an old lady. I'll never forget this, bro. And she looked at me. She says, "Oh, you're losing your job." And I remember like 10 minutes later, I was gone. They asked me for my my things, and I went home. I remember that shit was like, my father had just got out of prison. And I remember me and my mother, we went from living in, I don't want to say the hood, man, but we were doing bad. You know what I mean? My mother had a little clunker. And I remember my father being out a week. My mother, brand new car. He was like, I remember that day that he hadn't even been out for 10 days. And he's like, yo, pack up all your shit, or don't even grab the necessary shit, because we're moving. And we went from like a 2-bedroom to like a 6-bedroom house, brand new, right on the water in Miami Lakes. My mother got a brand new Mercedes. My father had just got. I'm like, what the fuck? We went from like eating ramen noodles and beans to like, I remember back then it was the Filas and the Reeboks. And my father was like, come on, he took me to the mall. And I remember I got like 15 pairs of shoes and the starter jackets. And this is back in the day, but I was like, yo, I want to do what you're doing. And that's when the beepers, they had the beepers with different colors, shit like that. You remember the beepers or no?
Yeah, of course.
The fucking beepers, man. And I remember all I wanted was a beeper, man, and to have money in my pocket. And that's when my father was like, okay, you want to do this? I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it the best way. And then, start from an 8 ball, and then you move your way up. From a 3.5 to a half to a whole, and then you have all these little friends.
Are you like selling to your buddies?
I'm selling to my buddies.
Right.
This is like I haven't graduated yet to like the strip clubs and having people sell for me. No. I have a bunch of friends that want to be hip, and back then everybody was doing blow.
Right.
Everybody. And even though my father had one foot in, one foot out, my father always wanted to have something legit. Like my father was in the catering business, the hotel business, the food business. So even though my father was doing things, he still had a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that we would party and go out.
He needs a 9 to 5 for his probation officer at the very least.
Well, there you go. I remember that we would party till like 6 in the morning, and my father was always up every day at 7 in the morning, even if he slept 1 hour. And I'm like, bro, we've been partying all night, and I would sleep till 12 o'clock. And my father was religious. He would always be up, always, and always had a job. He always had a job. Even after the parole, my father was just, he felt that even when I was doing my thing, my father made me put a magnet on my car, on my pickup truck. And he goes, every day you leave the house at 9 in the morning and you come back at night, or you come back in the afternoon, I don't care what you do. You go to the gym, you make a schedule, you go to the park. You don't stay home all day and set up red flags. You got to have a routine. And I remember that got embedded in me. There was times that I had nothing to do, nowhere to go. But it was a Thursday, and I'm like, well, if I got to go walk the mall or go to a park and sit down, and back then they had the flip phones. So my father was very big about that. My father was big about routines and things like that. Never take the same way home, Don't talk on the phone, shit like that.
So you start off and you're selling. Like, how do you get to a point where you're not selling, where you're supplying somebody to go sell?
Well,
and where's all this coming from?
Colombia.
Yeah, but I'm assuming your dad's not handing shit over the kitchen table, right? I mean, do at some point you circumvent him, or you just on your way?
No, my father, what's crazy? My father had a group, right? And it was like his inner circle. And even though my dad's the boss,
mm-hmm.
right? My father never handed nothing to me.
Right.
Ever. Even parties where everybody's getting high, I can never say that I saw my father take a whack in front of me, or I took a whack in front of him, and we're both high at the same place at the same time. It was a respect thing.
Yeah.
So my father's right-hand man, a guy named Tony, I would get my work from him. My father just authorized it. Just like another time, me and my father, I gave work to this kid, a friend of mine, and he would sell it for $3 for $50, right? The kid gets caught, right? The kid goes and tells his father. The kid's dad's a detective, but he was like, you know how you always have that black sheep? My father told me, stay away from that kid. His father's law enforcement. That could bring us a problem. I'm like, no, bro, the kid's solid. He's not going to get caught. White kid. I'm like, nothing's going to happen. My father's like, I'm telling you, it's going to be a problem. The kid's going to talk. We're going down. I said, no, bro, look, we have a bond. I was naive. This is, I still.
How long have you been selling at this point?
Bro, I want to say like I'm like a year, 2 years strong.
Okay.
Now I'm growing it, but I have enough where I sell one of my friends 3 ounces, 4 ounces. But this kid,
you got a couple guys out there that are selling.
I have maybe like 4 or 5 guys that are solid. That I'm moving work. But it was just this kid, man. We just had a bond. We were just super cool, tight, and and in this business, you need a white friend. You need a white friend, or you're going to jail.
I feel like you don't have a bond. I feel like that bond wasn't what you think it was.
No, I just didn't. I didn't know that he was gonna turn the way he did.
Most people get in trouble because they lose focus at the wrong time. That's why I like to stay sharp. And Cashapp makes that easy. It's a whole body meal packed with good stuff that keeps me fueled and ready for anything. They just dropped a brand new flavor, and it's made with real freeze-dried strawberries. The first time I tried it, it honestly tasted like a supercharged strawberry milkshake, but without the junk. Just clean, plant-based nutrition. Cashapp has 85 plus superfoods and nutrients, plus 25 grams of plant-based protein. No soy, no gluten, no preservatives, just fuel your body actually needs. I drink it for breakfast or lunch when I'm in a hurry, and it helps keep me full and focused for the interviews. You've never tasted strawberries like this. Go to Kachava.com and use code ITC for 15% off your next order. That's KACHAVA.com, code ITC for 15% off.
What happens is this kid, his father finds it in his clothes or something. The kid doesn't even wait. He says, "Wow."
He didn't even get busted.
No, he got busted by his dad, but his dad's a cop.
Right.
So his dad finds the shit in his house, and I guess in his own home, going through his kid's shit, finds 3 bags of blow. I told him, I remember that we had rehearsed. I said, if you ever get caught, you have a drug problem or a junkie, whatever.
Yeah, but 3 bags. That's
The father, bro, the guy said the whole movement. He gets it from his father. His father's a Colombian kingpin. Bro, the kid made it seem like I was one of the old Chapo kids, right? The father, thank God that the father, there was a situation that had happened with the mother, with the cop's wife, and my father owned a car dealership. My father pretty much gave them a car. Not gave it to them, but like looked out to the point where it was peanuts on a dollar, right? And this guy, I remember the guy.
Wait. You mean the father of your buddy? He comes into the car dealership and talks to you, has a conversation with your dad?
Yeah, this is like rewinding. My father has sold my friend's dad, which is a cop,
Right.
a car for the wife, right? This was like months before. So my father and him they were cool.
So you know who he was.
You know, yeah, they know we go to school together. Like we went to school together. We're friends. The kid finds that the dad finds the kid with this shit, goes and he tells him, "Where'd you get it?" The guy, they smacked him one time to talk. They had to smack him 20 times to shut up. Right. Says more than he had to. He shows up to my house in a police car, and my father was like, "I fucking told you." I already had warned my dad. I was like, "Yo, something's going on. He's not picking up my phone. I'm beeping him. He's not answering me back."
She said he was solid.
Yo,
you had a bond.
We had a bond. Yeah. My father was like, "Listen, I don't know, but if the father comes over here, it's gonna be a problem." I was like, my father cleans everything out the house and shit. Said and done. The next day, the father shows up, right? Father doesn't want to look at me. I'm a piece of shit to the father, right? The father looks at me like, you junkie, it's your fault, right?
Yeah, of course. It's going to be his kid.
Yeah, goes and talks to my dad. He goes, "Look, man, they got you like this big bad guy, but you're so good, the dealer and this." And my father's a talker. My father was like, "I can't believe my son is selling drugs," right?
Fucking kid. What are you going to do with these kids?
Yo, so I'm trying to listen. They're in the living room. I'm trying to listen. And my father was like, "I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I might have to send him to a rehab or something, these fucking kids. But thank you for coming to tell me and this and that," right? And I remember the cop, they shook hands and everything. The cop was like, "Look, let's just keep this between me and you. I don't want my son with your son. Your son's a real bad kid, right?" And the guy leaves, and my father was like, "I fucking told you. Didn't I tell you?" He's like, "You can't talk to the kid." And it was so messed up, man, because like he was one of my closest homies, right? And I was like, all right. I remember I saw this guy not that long ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I run into this guy at Walmart at all the places. And I looked at him, and in my mind, like he looks at me, he knows who I am. We're older, ain't got no hair. And I'm like, "You fucking snitch, you. I still remember the shit you did to me." You know what I mean?
All right, so let's go back to your buddy tells you guys your dad's quash it.
Right.
So your dad's quash it, and then so you keep going. Your
right,
dad's if you just listen to half the shit your dad fucking told you.
I remember my dad. So all right, so let me rewind. My father, we've been left Florida. We're in New York, and my father is like that dude in our neighborhood. My father grew up in that neighborhood, so my father has a crew that works for him, and I'm working for my father's crew. I'm just one of the guys in his crews, right? So now mind you, I like Miami more, but the money was a lot faster and quicker in New York, right? my father took me to New York kind of to show me the real ropes of how this shit really works. I want to say New York is really where I got my hustle, the grind, you know what I mean? We're fucking. It could be a snowstorm and I still got guys in corners. We got a quota to make. That's how corporate my father was with it. That we had a quota to reach. We were supposed to make $1,500 a day. You know what I mean? So we're in New York, and New York is rough, man. And New York, they got real gangsters. You got real people out there that they will shoot you for a corner that belongs to nobody. So I go to New York. We go to New York because the parole officer, when my father gets out, they were like, look, if you don't leave Florida, we're gonna find something to pin on you to make sure you can never leave Florida. And my father was like, look.
That sounds like Florida.
Yeah, they were like, my father was like, oh, he's like, look, you got a brand new fucking house. You got 2 brand new cars. You got a $50,000 Rolex on your wrist. This is, bro, the parole officer was like a redneck, inbred, chew tobacco. I remember he used to chew tobacco. That's the first time I saw somebody chew tobacco, right? And he goes, I'm going to tell you something, boy. That's how he's talking. I'm going to tell you something, boy. If you don't leave Florida voluntarily, I'm going to make sure you never leave Florida. I'm going to keep you in Florida. And my father was like, yo, we got to go. He's not playing. I saw it in his eyes. This guy means business. Bro, the guy would show up at 3 a.m. and tell my father to drop a piss. And I'm like, yo, this guy's fucking coming every week, 2 or 3 times.
It doesn't matter. He owns you.
Bro, he opened the refrigerator. I remember one time he went in my room, bro. I was sleeping, and the guy's like, he tell my father, like, I need you to get up. And then I'm like, get up. And this guy's searching my room looking for anything. I'm like, oh man, this shit is crazy. When we left we left Florida, we go to New York. I saw New York was a whole different lifestyle. You know, in New York, you do 15, 20 things in one day. In Florida, you do 3, maybe 4 if you're lucky. New York is a very fast pace. And in New York, Queens, all the Colombians run with each other. These people have been running with each other since the 80s. There's loyalty, there's principles. If you have a whole nother neighborhood and you're going through a flood, they'll front you the work to get back on your feet. They look out for their people, you know? It's nobody over there. They don't want to rob each other. They don't want to shit on each other. They don't want to snitch on each other. They believe in, you know, this could come back home to Colombia. That's kind of, they bring it from the old motherland, right? I'm there. I'm still, I want to say that I was just a good hustler, but I became a mastermind in New York. I saw how to run things in corporate-wise. Like, my father used to say all the time, like, my father would always be dressed up. Like, I'm talking about button down, tight pants, you know, Ferragamo shoes. My father didn't look like a drug dealer in a corner. My father was like, everybody, even if you're on a corner, you have to be dressed nice. You can't look like with a big jacket with a scully on your head. No, my father always like, look, you got to dress fit the part so you don't look suspect. I go to New York. We start making money. From New York is where I really start like, okay, now fuck having 4 or 5 people work for me. Now I get maybe like 10 people and they have people working for them, right? So I'm getting work from my family. And I'm giving this guy like 8 ounces here, 5 ounces here. So they would give me, let's say, 5 keys, right? On Monday. By Tuesday, the 5 keys will be gone. People are like, damn, he was pushing keys. Yeah, I was pushing 10, 12 keys in a week, but it wasn't like that. I would get the work, but it would take me longer to break it up, to pass it out, than it was to get it or to sell it. You know what I mean? And it was a good rapport. Like, let's say I owed $150,000 to the people on top of me. I'd make $300,000 from one hand to another. So I'd pay back the $150 and pocket the rest of the money. It came to a point that in Colombia, so there was a family that they were powerful. They were a powerful family, and back in the 80s, the father shitted on my uncle. He owed my uncle some money, allegedly, right?
You just didn't pay him.
Yeah, never paid him. It was some work that never got paid. Mind you, my uncle's dead. That gentleman per se is dead, the one that owed the money. But now his daughter, following the family business, and she's big time. So I remember we were waiting to get some work, and there was some shit going on. It didn't come in. It got knocked off. Something happened where we weren't able to get it in time, and we had a demand for it. So my father's such a mastermind. He goes and asks this lady to front him the work. So I go to pick up the work from the lady. I get the work. The lady comes and brings me the work. So even though my father was like, yo, give my son and his people the work, I got you back. I get the work. I'm moving the work. I'm waiting for my stuff to come in. The deal was when my stuff came in, I was going to we were going to give her what she gave us. We're just going to give her right back with an extra on top. I don't know what happens. We have a family member that comes from Colombia. He's one sandwich short of a picnic basket. He's not all there. And he goes and he starts talking that story about how that girl's father never paid my uncle. It was like 20 keys or something like that.
But he's dead now.
But they're both dead. My uncle's dead and the girl. So
Okay.
we should have kind of left it like, what happened. That has nothing to do with us. This is my father. Oh, well. And I'm like, me trying to like impress my father and impress my inner circle. I said, fuck that. We ain't paying the shit. I said, I'm gonna take this shit on my uncle's face. My father's like, no, but that's not how business works. I got it up to the point that I got everybody riled up. It was like, what's that movie with Denzel Washington, The Titans, the football movie?
Yeah.
I was coaching everybody. I said, fuck that. You know, who do they think that they are? I said, even though they're dead, that they're still old. So now, I remember I called the lady back and I told her, look, I need another 5. Because I already knew where I was going with it.
Right.
And I went behind my father's back. I didn't tell my father nothing. My father's like, no, we're going to pay her. I told everybody, like, fuck that. He's getting soft. He's getting older. I said, eventually I'm the one that's going to have to say all the calls and we're not paying her back. That makes us look soft. Back then, The Sopranos were on. So I wanted to be Tony. I was like, no, that's going to make us look soft. Bro, tell me why I call this woman. And she comes and she brings me the work. Brings me another 5. And I'm there with my dad's right-hand man and 2 of my guys. And I sit here and I'm like, I'm going to say it to your face. I'm taking this shit from you. And I'm taking it because of this. And she's looking at me like, are you crazy? He goes, I just looked out for you. I was good to you. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to come and tell me you're going to shit on me and you're going to just take my shit. She goes, you think I'm just going to let you take my shit? Mind you, she just gave me the work. The work, we're still in the same location. I said, yeah, I'm going to say it to your face. This is from my uncle. And she goes, you sure you want to do this? I said, yeah, go. The next day, I get a call from one of my workers. They run up on one of my workers. They beat the shit out of a guy that worked for me. Beat him up. They took everything he had on him. And she was in the car watching this shit go down. She goes, tell him that it's going to get worse. And we don't even want the work back. So now my father called me like, what did you do? You're going to start a war. And I'm like, well, sometimes violence is necessary to control the peace, Dad. You're getting soft. Mind you, my dad never had a soft bone in his body.
Right.
My mother was the real gangster of the family, but that's a whole nother episode. I kind of messed up because...
It sounds like it's more than kind of.
Yeah, no, I messed up because now I'm too in to fall back because now I can't look soft. Mm-hmm. They just beat up one of my main dudes in front of everybody in the neighborhood. It happens, whatever. We start going to war with each other, us versus them. We start running up on each other, beating each other up, running each other off the road, crazy shit. You know what I mean? That's why I'm gonna leave that. It got real ugly to the point that I'm at a club in New York, in Queens, and I'm there with just one of my guys. And there's like 7 of them show up, right? Mind you, we have our weapons in the car, but we're surrounded, we're inside. So I'm like, yo, we're not gonna make it out. So I'm like, I'm like, listen, if we walk out through the front, they're gonna get us. We walk out through the back, they're gonna get us. I said, we're gonna have to wait here all night. We're calling people. Back then it was the flip phones. So now I'm borderline shitting on myself, but I can't show no weakness. I'm like, yo, listen, whatever happens, bro, we start throwing tables, chairs. I said, well, my idea was like, we're gonna run out through the front, we're gonna split up. Whoever gets to the car first grabs the gun and comes back and saves the other person, right? The guy's a big, fat dude, very sloppy, out of shape, 300-pound guy. He's like, look, bro,
I'm not going to make it to the car.
I'm not going to make it to the car, right? And I'm over here like, well, bro, listen, they're looking at me. They're waiting for me to bust a move. I said, they're on me. I said, if you could sneak off, go get that shit, bring it in the club. At least we have enough to defend ourselves. Now my guy starting to, even my employees are shitting on themselves with the story. I'm over here calling my father. Me and my dad are beefing because of that situation. My dad, now he's like, oh, you want to be a gangster?
Yeah.
So now you're going to take care of this beef on your own. So now this is a situation that if my dad shows up, I would have been like, yo, we good. Because my dad's really living like that. It ends up happening that me and this fat dude, there's a bunch of people in the club, and there's a waitress that has a pepper spray. So I grab the pepper spray. I go to a corner of the club. I start spraying that pepper spray. Like I empty out the whole, the shit you spray somebody with, and I press the fire alarm. And this is how smart shit was. I remember that I got out the shit. I went under a car and then into some bushes, and I'm there and I'm watching them looking for me everywhere. I lost my friend. I said, bro, just get out of here. They're looking for me. I go and I call Colombia. I call the old man. I call Jorge. And I'm like, yo, listen, these motherfuckers, they were going to duct tape me. They were going to get me. One of the waitresses calls me later on that night and says, listen, they have a reward for you. They have $25,000, pretty much dead or alive. I'm like, what? I'm like, dead or alive? I said, I'm not dying. I said, that's when she called me and told me that, I said, yo, listen, I'm calling Colombia. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they say. I'm calling for backup. I called
Well, wait a minute. What happened with the pepper spray? What is the pepper spray?
I grabbed the you know the shit that you make.
I know what pepper spray. Yeah.
I go to the corner of the club. I start spraying it. That smell gets all over the club.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand that.
No, it's a powerful smell. Yeah. I sprayed it and I pressed the fire alarm, and people are thinking that something's going on. The smell. And so
people's eyes are burning. The fire alarm just went off. They think, maybe there's a fire.
Who knows? But the smell was so. Have you ever been pepper sprayed?
No, luckily.
Me neither. But I've been tasered, and that shit hurt. And they say pepper spray hurts 3 times more than the. So this was like some MacGyver shit. I'm like, yo, it's either this or Fat Boy ain't gonna make it to the car, and I'm not gonna make it to the car. So it's like, what do I do? This is the hustler mentality. How am I gonna get out of this? I'm not gonna look soft. I'm not gonna cop a plea, and I'm not gonna let them. I'm like, if I would have had a gun on me, it would have been a whole different story. But bro, there's 7 of them.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought outside the box. That's why I'm still alive. I thought outside the box.
So you spray the pepper spray. You pull the fucking alarm. The club empties.
Well, I got in a crowd with a bunch of people. Everybody's running through the front, the side, the back. I run out the back, and in New York, if you see, there's always a main street.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go in New York, there's always a main street. I came out, there was bushes, a car. I jumped in the bush, and I just laid in the fucking bush for 3 hours. I was there, and when I saw 3 hours later, I just jumped out and got in my car and left. But then this is when I knew shit was real.
Wait, you said then you talked to a girl about.
So a waitress, because I used to go to that club all the time. That was kind of one of my headquarters in Queens, where I used to have the waitresses sell for me. You know what I mean? Oh, let's say they sold $500. I'll give them $250 for me, $250 for them. And I had like 3 waitresses there. But she called me. She says, yo, Alex, this shit is serious. He goes, they have a $25,000 reward for you. They don't care if you're dead or alive. They said wherever you're at, just to call, and they will give the $25,000. So I call my dad. My dad already had heard. Mm-hmm. But my dad is acting tough, but my dad's already getting his soldiers, his troops. He's already planning what to do to retaliate. You know, like, yo, what's gonna happen? I don't know that, right? I'm over here trying to show face. and trying not to lose no street cred or none of that because I can't look bad. I did something fucked up. Now I got to deal with the consequences. I caught Colombia, and the old man tells me, he goes, how serious is it? I'm like, yo, look, first they fronted me something, and then, there's a story, and he goes, well, you shouldn't listen to stories. That's what got you in trouble. So this is when I knew the shit was real. My uncle, he can't come to America. He says, tomorrow, these two men are gonna go see you. They flew from Colombia to New York to come see me. Two dudes. I told them everything. They met me up. I told them everything. Boom, boom, boom. Not even 48 hours later, they had a meeting with me, my father, and the lady and her uncle. And we all sat down with those two people. And my uncle in Colombia said, listen, if you guys touch my nephew, he goes, I'll make sure everybody in your family disappears. He goes, you got to leave him alone. And that's how, they apologized to me. They shook my hand and they walked out the room.
You didn't give them their stuff back?
Like, hell no. That shit was gone the same day she gave it to me.
You owe him. No, you owe him.
Yo, listen.
You owe them.
Yo, listen. That shit, it was so much money there. So that's when shit was hot that my father was like, you got to leave. You got to go back to Miami.
That's not a good story. That's a bad story.
No,
you didn't do the right thing.
No.
You should have paid her back.
No, man. But I tell you, look, I'll tell you the irony of life, how God is real and karma's real. Years later, I'm in prison. Her son's in prison. He lands in my tier, in my unit, in prison. Some guy comes to tell me, yo, that's Fulanito from Los Correas. Their last name is Correa. He goes, that's Fulanito, bum, 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 nephew. And I'm like, who? I'm like, he's a fucking kid. And he was like, yeah, he got caught with some shit, boom, boom, boom. That's the girl who I took, the lady who I took her shit. Yeah. That's her son.
So you went and got him some commissary, some shower slides.
It's not even that. They were trying to fuck this. I could curse, right?
Yeah.
They were trying to. He's very fragile, good looking kid, handsome. Weighed maybe 120 pounds wet. Didn't stand the chance.
Not good.
Didn't stand the chance. The guy looked like a model. When I find out who he is, there's already a dude. He's like, yo, I'm gonna get you. He's like, that's mine. I go and I say, your mom is this, and that. This is where you come from. We start talking. Now, mind you, at that time in prison, I got power. I'm with Rivi. I'm with the El Profe, which he was a head boss. He went down in the 80s, but he was he ran the cartel in El Valle of Colombia. When I'm over here like, damn, the irony of life, bro. I don't know the kid. From a hole in the wall. I went and I talked to the black dude who was gonna rape him. The black dude was just waiting for the right time, the right day to get him. It was only the kid had been on the compound for less than a week. I said, here, call your mother. You know what I mean? And the kid was like, okay, calls his mother, and I go on. The lady's name is Nina. I go and I talk to her. I said, look, it's me, boom, boom, boom. It's Bobby's son. And she didn't know whether to tell me, fuck you, or to be like, oh, shit. I said, listen, back then I was wild, young and dumb. You see, karma's real. I'm here. I'm doing 5 years. I said, this is what I'm going to do for you. I said, they want to get your son. Like, yeah, she was trying to put like a protective custody. Mm-hmm. She was telling her son, get me people to call me and I will pay for them to protect you like a rent. You know how it is.
Yeah.
There's people that pay $500 a month to be protected in prison, and people pay it. But I protected him on some love because I felt like I'm gonna clean my face with the mother. You know what I mean? And I brought him under my wing, and it was kind of a thing that we almost got into it with these people, but once they saw that it was us, the guy's like, oh. But you know how it is in prison. The whites stick with the whites, the Spanish stick with the Spanish. If you're gang banging, there's certain gangs that ride with each other, things like that. So I just brought him under my arm. And to make the story better, man, I feel that if it wasn't for me, man, he would have went in as a tight end. What is it? He came in as a tight end and he left as a wide receiver.
Come on.
He came in as a tight end and he left as a wide receiver. Oh, listen, I feel that. Hey, I clean my face.
All right. So you go back to Miami.
I go back to Miami.
Right.
And I come back to Miami and this is before me going to prison.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I come back to Miami and
your dad said, or your dad, they were like, you got to go back to Miami.
Well, my father's about to get off of parole. Parole in New York didn't fuck with him at all. They got so much shit going on in New York. But his parole officer was a lady now, very understanding. She just wanted him to win. Single father, he's taking care of his boys. Me and my brother, I go back to Miami, man, and I just take off. I just bring all the traits and the things that I've learned in New York. I bring them to Miami, and I'm still getting it from my family. And I just, from one minute to another, it's a family business. So now I got other people involved in it, other family members, and we're just doing it like the Walmarts. You know what I mean? It's where we all have our positions, and we're all just making money. What I was doing was, I was out of my cousins and my family, and this is why I believe that I got caught. They're very low key. You know what I mean? They don't flash. I was the Rolex, Mercedes.
Yeah, it's the El Chapo versus El Mayo model.
Like, you know, my cousin's still in the game. My cousin's been in the game for what, 30 years, and never had a traffic ticket. You know, and now he does everything legit. He's in the cannabis business. You know what I mean? But he's never had a traffic ticket, has a gun license, never been to jail, nothing. My father used to tell me too, like, I don't know, it was just the matching hats it was just the New York swagger. And my father one time was like, that causes attention, bro. Attention that you don't need. He goes, you have a $50,000. When I got indicted, the cop was like, I was like, oh, I come from a rich family. He goes, you're in $1 million house. You're wearing a $50,000 watch. You have 5 cars outside of your house, and you don't have a fucking job. For how long? What do you work at? Oh, I'm this, that. Bro, look, we know everything, bro. When they came and they got me, when the feds came and got me, I'm over here like, oh, that's not my father. He's a sperm donor, and I've never met him. He's a bad father. I'm over here like, I'm you know what I mean? And they were like, and your uncle? Oh no, that's just my bloodline, but I don't know none of those people. And when they threw the picture of me and my godfather, me in Colombia, getting off a helicopter, hugging him, and I'm in Colombia. Mm-hmm. I said, these motherfuckers must have been in a tree in a mountain. When they showed me that picture, bro, man, I turned gay for 2 minutes, my brother. I said, how the fuck did they get a picture of me in Colombia?
So how do we get there? Like, so you're
All right, so I'm getting money, right? We're starting to do what I started to do was I started the local Miami strip clubs, the Booby Trap, the original Booby Trap. What I started doing, started going to the strip clubs, and I started giving strippers blow, right? So now, you know, every club has like a local drug dealer, or a pimp that has his women there. What I do is I go directly to the drug dealer and directly to the pimp and say, listen, this is who I am, this is what I do. Whatever you're getting it at, I'll beat that price. Oh, no, I'm like, all right, try my shit to your shit. It's apples to oranges all day. So, and it worked. It worked. Back then, everybody was doing blow. So I got to the point, man, that I would bribe the owners. The original owner of Booby Trap, fuck was his name? Mark. Was it Mark? He was an Italian guy. He died of a heart attack. The original owner of Booby Trap was my guy. Italian mob was my dude. So he let me get away with murder in the strip clubs, and he owned 5. So I would get high with this guy. It's just a crazy irony of story that I took over the hottest clubs in Miami. So what I started to do was I started to get with the celebrities. Started hanging out with celebrities. And now these people, they were getting coke, but I'm getting this shit straight from Colombia, bro. I'm getting pure. It looks like crystals. Now the shit that's in Miami, bro, it gives you diarrhea, but that's a whole nother story. It has more baking soda than in it. But the stuff that I was getting, and I was just grabbing it from one hand, there's people that are savages, bro. There's people that'll grab 1 kilo of pure and grab 2 kilos of cut and make 3. Which is unethical. You know what I mean? But Can I say that?
Unethical. But okay, I'm pretty sure the entire drug industry is unethical.
It's bad, but very bad. But I was just a good businessman in that sense. I was like, look, bro, I have the best. I'm gonna give you the best price, and I'm not gonna touch it. You do what you want with it, but I'm gonna give it to you at this price. And then it just took off. I started dealing with celebrities, certain somebodies. I don't want to name names because, you know what I mean. I was around. I could tell you the people that I was around. You know, the Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, all the big stars. I was there. I had the best work in Miami at that time. You know what I mean? And I just took off as the celebrity drug dealer. So I'm selling to all the strippers. I start going outside my means because now I remember a family member asked me for a favor. Right, somebody owed him money, and I have a real tight knit circle, and I send the guy to get beat up. Right, the guy that owes the money for a family member. I send the guy to get beat up allegedly. Gotta say allegedly, and the guy gets beat up real bad. But a week later, the guy pulls up the money. So now, you know, I got paid very, very handsomely for that, and I'm like, damn. But I'm doing all types of stuff. You know, I'm selling to celebrities. I'm in the strip club, and this is when there was MySpace. You know, this is MySpace. So now people don't understand that you get indicted for likes. You know, you're indicting yourself. But I'm over here popping bottles and the whole thing, right? I'm doing super good. I sent at the time who I thought was a loyal soldier. I sent him. There was a dude that had a gambling debt, and they had called me from Colombia, told me, yo, look, this guy owes this much money. Boom, boom, boom. Can you handle it? I said, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. I send this guy over there. He goes to shake up the dude. He ends up taking a Rolex. The guy's a jeweler. The guy's a big jeweler, but he's a junkie. He's a gambling degenerate, right? And the guy goes, my so-called friend goes over there with people, and they end up taking stuff from the dude that they weren't supposed to. He takes a Rolex, a presidential Rolex that had a serial number. He sells a $150,000 watch online on eBay or something like that. The guy's a retard. The guy sold the watch to an undercover online for like $20,000. When he goes to sell the guy the watch, it's a sting operation in a hotel. They get him. How did you get this watch when this was traced to a home invasion? The guy saying that somebody ran up in my house, duct taped me, and took my jewelry, which was not the case. But that's what he told the cops.
Yeah, he's trying to get claim on insurance.
Exactly. I didn't know nothing about this. For real, I didn't know he took this guy's watch. All I knew was that the guy paid, and that's it. This guy, the one that takes the watch from the jeweler, right? He ends up getting pinched by the feds, and he tells the feds, "Listen, I'll work out a deal with you guys. You guys don't want me, man. I'm just a servant. I'll show you who the boss is."
Because he's facing a home invasion charge, which is like fucking 10 to 15 years minimum.
It's still now. I think it's a life sentence now. Now, if you run
depends
up
on it's a state. If it's a state, I think you're getting at least 15 years.
Yeah, at least 15.
It depends on what you did once you were there. You tied him and all that other stuff.
Yeah, they charged him with kidnapping.
You're 25.
Yeah, because they tied him. Yeah, a bunch of PPOs, whatever. Right. So this guy, sells the watch to an undercover. The undercovers are the feds. They grab this guy. This guy said, "Look, you guys don't want me. I got something better for you guys." He goes, "I got the nephew of boom, boom, boom." He goes, "This guy works directly for the cartel." He goes, "You guys don't want me." He goes, "You guys, I'll turn him in." The feds didn't know nothing about me. Nobody knew nothing about me. I was a measly little. Some people thought I was a rapper or something because I had the jewelry, the cars, the women, living the lifestyle. Well, my so-called friend, the one that got caught, he starts working with the feds to bring me in, to get me. Make a long story short, this guy works for the feds for like 2 years against me, bro.
Is he wearing a wire the whole thing?
Bro, this is the whole situation. I was so high most of the time that I didn't want to talk. I'm high as a kite, man. I don't want to talk about nothing. You know what I mean? But they didn't have me on no wire fraud. They had me. My charges were money laundering, threatening witnesses, or they try to hit me with organized crime. It wasn't RICO back then, but they were trying to make it seem I'm like, when they found out who I was, they were like, okay, we'll get this kid young. He's gonna turn on everybody. When they got me, they were talking about you're gonna do 25 to life. And that's when I remember I'm looking at the corner of the room and I'm like, look, I need a lawyer. They're like, bro, they're not even respecting the rights. They're like, look, fuck a lawyer. You're gonna go to prison. We'll get you witness protection. And this is 2000.
Well, wait a minute. Let's go back. Let's go back to the guy. The guy's working with the feds, with what?
I don't know that.
FBI or DEA.
So all I know that he was working with the feds.
Okay. So he's working with them.
Mm-hmm.
Did he end up getting like he's wired up? He's getting conversations with you, like
the discoveries and everything. What my lawyer told me was he wore a wire a few times, but he didn't have nothing to incriminate me. It was nothing that he could use in court against me. So there was never nothing that he got me with a wire. That wasn't what he got me with. What he got me with was conspiracy.
Okay.
Which is a conspiracy situation. But he was working out a deal with them that if he would turn me in, he wouldn't go to prison or something like that. Right? I don't know what the hell happened that my mother, mind you, my father looks at him like a son. My mother looks at him like a son. My mother had a nightmare with this guy. My mother comes and tells me the guy's already working with the feds. My mother calls me and says, I need to talk to you. I'm like, oh, what's going on? She goes, that guy's gonna turn on you. The guy who really was turning on me, really was the
he'd already turned on you.
He already had turned on me. My mother said she had a dream with him and she saw him sticking a knife in my back. And he had been acting funny. It was just things weren't adding up with him. He was living in one of my houses. He was just doing a lot of things that weren't adding up. So I started to cut him off little by little, but he knew too much, you know what I mean, to just cut him off automatically, right? When he noticed that I was cutting him off was when I got surrounded. I got arrested. He told.
Well, how'd you get arrested?
All right, so let me tell you the whole thing. All right, so I'm working with my father. My father's in Miami, where we're all allegedly selling drugs, right? I had a house that we would just use to count money. A lot of people thought that I lived there, but I really didn't live there.
I had a stash house.
That was my stash house, but I would stay there sometimes. It was the party house. After the strip club, everybody would go to that house. You know, it was really the strip club. So I had that house, and me and my father lived in another house, maybe like 45 minutes away, right? I remember that one night I was at the strip club, and I saw when I left there was a white guy there. It was just it didn't add up. It was a white guy with a black dude. They were like British. The black guy was British, and I'm like, this is Miami, bro. Like, and they kept trying to talk to me, and the guy sent me a bottle of champagne, and I'm like, yo, why are you sending me a bottle? Like, I don't even know you. So, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That day I wasn't getting fucked up. It's the crazy part about it. I was sober. And I end up leaving the club, and when I leave, they leave. So I start feeling something. I start like watching my back now when I'm driving. My mother tells me about that nightmare that she had with this dude. I start noticing little things are not adding up. Now I'm sending him to do things, but he doesn't want to do them. You know what I mean? He's not as consistent as he once was to me, right? And it's crazy. You had a guy on your show here. I don't want to put his name out there, but they were cool. So the guy was on your show, and that guy used to work for. He was real good friends. He used to put in work also for the guy that was here on your show. So this guy was a credible somebody. Make a long story short, how it all comes to an end. They got me on a drug sale, supposedly. They got me giving an ounce to a stripper. Now, this is how it all changed with time. The video shows me giving her something, but she wasn't apprehended at that moment with the drugs. They see me giving her something.
Right.
From a distance. It wasn't even like how me and you are right now with a soda. It's from here a block away. They see me handing her something, which we could take this to trial any day of the week. And she ends up turning on me too, but that was later down the road. That was just one of the pieces to the puzzle, and it didn't stick in court because she was a drug addict, had problems with her children, with what do you call it?
DCF.
With DCF and all of this. So my lawyer chewed that up. So I'm going into my house. Mind you, I have my mother, I have my whole family in my house. And I remember at that time, the Miami Heat had LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. So I'm wearing the LeBron jersey. He had just come to the team. This is like 04. No, it's like 06 or something. I think it's 06. It's 06. So I have a 745 BMW, right? And I'm driving with the windows open, with the sunroof open. But I always kept a gun in the middle of the console because, to rewind back, I always kept the gun there. And, I'm living in Kendall, right? And I see a SUV, a pickup truck, a pickup truck, and a station wagon. All the same color, all silver, dark tinted windows. Mind you, I have an illegal gun in the middle of my console, right? When I live in the hammocks in Kendall, so there's a street that you turn. When I turn, as I'm driving, I'm cleaning the gun with my jersey. I'm cleaning it. I said, they have to be on the covers. When we hit a corner, I slung it. It gave me maybe like 9 to 10 seconds to hit the corner without a car being behind me. And that's when I slung the gun out the sunroof. As soon as I come into my complex, I get surrounded by all cops, a bunch of cops from everywhere. I thought it was a robbery. I was hoping it was a robbery because I've never seen a cop with a ski mask. Mm-hmm. They had ski mask, FBI. 2 of them said ATF. They had assault rifles. When I come in, so there's a security gate in my complex. So I come in through the security gate. 4 cars come through the front, and those 3 cars block me from the back. I live maybe 5 houses in the complex to the left from the security gate. When I get surrounded, the first thing I do, I put the car in park. I see a dude with an AR-15 just pointing it. Put your hands up. But he has a mask. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, bro, this is a robbery. They're robbing me. Because I had like 4 chains, Rolex bracelet, etc. Miami shit. When I see the guns and then I see the FBI shirts, I said, nah, this ain't no robbery, bro. They throw me on the floor. I'm screaming for my mother. I'm like, Mom, got this on camera. They throw me on the floor. When they have me there, I remember one of the cops is a Cuban Spanish cop. He goes to me, he goes, look, in 15, 20 minutes, you're going to have Miami-Dade. You're going to have the Kendall police here. He goes, what do you have here that you don't want them to find? And we'll make it disappear. I said, make it disappear. I said, well, listen, I have, which was really a head stash. I had in my nightstand, I had maybe like 9 ounces of blow. I had almost $1 million in cash in the closet. I had $998,000, and all 20s, 100s, and 10s in my closet and shoe boxes of Jordan, right? And then I had a AK-47 in my house that it wasn't that I used it for protection, but it was kind of like it was gold plated, and it had my initials on the side of it. So I just used to have it upstairs just to have it, but it was a real gun. You could shoot it. I tell the guy everything. I'm like, yo, look, bro, I got the drugs there. I got the assault rifle, and I have money in the closet. I said, and all the shoe boxes all the way on the top. These guys, I remember that when I would go traveling, I would have Louis Vuitton, the set, the book bag, the duffel bag, the little thing with the wheels. These people, the Cuban cop and another cop, they went inside the house. They were in unmarked cars too. They go inside the house. I see them walking out with like 4 of my suitcases took all the money. They took the assault rifle. They took the drugs. And I remember, I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, I'm getting robbed by the police. But it is what it is. My whole family's there. I go and I told the cop, I said, I'm leaning against the thing, and I'm like, yo, what is this for? I said, I think you guys have the wrong person. As soon as they put all the stuff in the unmarked car, right? Like 15 minutes later, Miami-Dade shows up. Dade County Police, detectives, boom, boom, boom. The Cuban cop put everything in the trunk of that car. And I remember the guy left like a 50 of coke in my bathroom when he just took 9 ounces of coke out of my dresser. They charged me with that 50 of coke too, by the way. That was one of my charges. When the guy puts everything in, literally like 10 to 15 minutes later, the Dade County Police show up.
Right.
The Cuban guy's partner gets in the car and drives off in the unmarked car with all the shit in the trunk. Right? So I'm leaning up against the thing, and I'm like, oh shit, I remember I have something else. And the guy was like, well, listen, I need you to give me your jewelry. Mind you, my jewelry I probably had now the number's probably $250, maybe $300,000 in jewelry and Cuban link chains. Bro, the guy took off all my chains. Took off all my, they were the ones that hang over. He took off all my chains and put them all in his pocket, took off my watch, my bracelet. I was like, yo, it was a bad day. But I feel that I kind of bought myself out of maybe a life sentence in prison, maybe 25, 30 years, just the assault rifle alone. Fuck the money. The 9 ounces of blow, you know, and I say the assault rifle probably would have got me 20. Easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was already a convicted felon at that point. So I say this to say that's what happened with that situation. When they bring me, they actually bring me directly to the RAW, to the This is when I knew shit was serious. They didn't bring me to no police station. They brought me directly to the FBI barracks. And they weren't trying to do good cop, bad cop. No, they had 2 bad cops. You know what I mean? These guys were straight, and I'm like, yo, I don't know. They start showing me pictures and all types of things, and I'm like, I don't know that guy. I don't know that guy. And they're showing me all my family. I'm talking about, we'll put you in protective custody. I'm like, protective custody from who? My family? What about Thanksgiving?
Right.
What about Christmas? You guys are going to protect me from my father, my brother, my uncles? I'm like, bro, I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm playing victim. I'm looking up at I remember I kept looking, it had a hole in the ceiling of the holding cell, of the
interrogation room.
Interrogation room. And I remember I kept looking up at that hole saying, they're lying. They're lying. They don't know nothing. I kept saying lawyer. And I remember they had me in there for like 15 hours. I'm like, I need a lawyer. And they're like, fuck a lawyer. We want to know this, and that. I'm like, that's not my father. He's a sperm donor. Never met that man. So they gave me an AC warrant. You know what an AC warrant is?
No.
I needed to show the money they gave me $1 million bond, right?
Actual cash? What's AC?
I have to show where the money comes from.
Okay.
So it was $1 million bond. So the money for me to get out on bond, the $100,000, it needed to show where it came from, the businesses. So it took maybe like a month and a half for my family to get the right paperwork to show, look, 30 came from this business, this came from that, whatever. When I get out on bond. The 2 detectives that were there, I kept saying, I don't know what you guys are talking about. You guys are crazy. This shit will never stand. I'm not gonna do a day in jail. When I get out, my father's there with his lawyer, and the 2 detectives are there standing, waiting for me to get out. When I walk out, the detective said, "Thought you didn't know your father."
Mm-hmm.
He was, I thought he was a sperm donor. And I laughed, and I said, I'm not going to jail. I said, you guys wasted your time. And my father was like, don't talk to them, the attorney, they be quiet, because I'm talking shit now. I just bonded out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you guys thought you guys could hold me and this, and that. But the detectives waited for me to get out. The FBI agents waited for me to get out. We rolled that case, but I want to say I fought that case for like 3 years. You know what I mean? And I kept going to Colombia. I would go to Colombia like once every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. And I actually thought about running to Colombia. I thought about it. You know what I mean? But being American, Colombia's a beautiful place, man. But there's no way in, no way out. That's where you got to be at all times. I was kind of planting my seeds. I had a fake passport. I had a fake everything. I could have came in and out as many times as I wanted. But, my father told me, look, you're going to have to go sit down for a while. You did this. You made your bed. You got to lie in it. And that's kind of where I don't know if you saw in the other interview that they did a sit down. They ordered a sit down from Colombia with me when I caught this whole charge that I was out on bond. And I didn't think I was going to come back from that meeting on top of Dayland Mall.
So you went to Colombia?
I went to Colombia, right? I was out on bond. They were trying to take my passport. But I already had, back then they took, when I got out on bond, they took my original passports, but I went and I had another passport and another ID. So I didn't fly to Miami. I caught the Greyhound bus to Georgia, and from Georgia I flew to Colombia. I didn't fly directly out of Miami International. And I got to Colombia, and I told my family, I'm like, look, bro, worst comes to worst, I'll come over here and fucking eat arepas and live in the jungle, and I'm not gonna go to prison. I said, and if I do go to prison, it is what it is. I said, my first offense, my first real serious charge, what are they gonna give me? 10? I said, I'll go sit down for 10. It is what it is. I'm not gonna tell on no family business. And my family believes me. They said, all right. When I come back to Miami, like 3 months later, now we're starting to like get the discoveries. We're getting ready, we're trying to see what are the offers, what they know, what they don't know, what we could use, what we can't use, if we're gonna take this to trial. I had one of the top 3 lawyers in Florida. I had Jack Black. You ever heard of Jack Black? Roy Black. Roy Black. He would come to fucking court in a helicopter.
Yeah.
I remember, bro, the money that the feds didn't take, I spent it on his ass. Very expensive, but very, very effective. The first lawyer that I got, he was like, oh, I can't get you less than 10. I said, what? He said, yeah, you got some real serious charges. The best I could do is 10. I said, you're fired. I said, you're fired. So when we went to talk to Roy said, if you don't got $50,000 right now, there's nothing to talk about. He goes, I guarantee you less than 5. Easy. Maybe probation, house arrest. But I need $50,000. I remember I had $25,000 on me cash that day. And I left the $25,000 and he looked at me like I was poor. Put $25,000 on his desk and he looked at me like, what's this? I said 50. I said, give me a week. I'll bring you the other 25. And bro, that guy, I remember when we went to court, I never seen a lawyer hug the judge. Like when you see a best friend and you run into him at your CVS, your local CVS, like, bro, how you been? And he hugged the judge and he looked at me and he glinched his eye. I said, so that's what the $50,000 is for.
Right.
But I believe if it wasn't for him, I probably would have got more time. I did 5. You know what I mean? But I believe if I would have went with somebody else, and I probably would have gotten 15, 13, easy.
Yeah, everybody.
And the feds dropped it. And the feds dropped it. That was another thing. Which, if I know now what I knew then, I would have rather gone to the feds.
For 5, yeah.
For 5, it's fucking. But there's 2 people in the feds. There's people who told and people who wish they told. The numbers that they're throwing out now. Unless they're throwing crazy numbers.
Yeah.
But when the feds ended up dropping the case, it kind of had to do with the way he was going about the case. That the feds were like, they just dropped it, and the state picked it up, and then you know what I mean. We just fought it. We fought it, and came to a point that I was like, all right, I'll take the 5.
So where'd you do the 5 years?
Right here, Punta Gorda. As a matter of fact, I had to come to come here. I had to go through there, man. I got goosebumps, bro. Like I was half asleep. You could see the prison from the expressway, and I'm there with my guy. I'm like, look, that's where I did 3 years in prison right there. I said, we got to get out of here quick. Yo, I'm doing like 80. I sped up to like 120 just to get out of that area. I did Punta Gorda. I did 3, and I did 3 there, and then I did another 2 in Tampa and Hardy. It is what it is, man. You know, you live and you learn.
When you got released, they said you're like a halfway house, or did you just
Yeah. You know, it's crazy because I was in the halfway house with the guy from War Dogs, the little fat guy, the one that Jonah Hill plays him.
Yeah. Ephraim Deveroli.
There you go. Super good dude. I don't know how he did in prison because he was scared as shit in the halfway house. But good dude. I saw him not that long ago. I saw him maybe like a year ago. I saw him. He came to my restaurant in Wynwood.
Yeah, I did like a year with him in the Low at Coleman.
Right.
I wrote his memoir.
Wow. He it's crazy, man, because they make him seem so tough on
Oh no, bro.
He's humble as apple pie, man. He won't hurt a fly.
Jonah Hill makes him look soft and cuddly. He's actually you knew him in the halfway house. Like I've seen him in action. He's a horrible person, bro. I mean, he may have been great with you. You might think he's all right.
No. I mean, like
he'll argue about anything.
No, I just mean he's not this tough guy that like.
Oh no, I didn't.
No.
I didn't think he was tough in War Dogs. Just kind of a scoundrel.
But you know, it's crazy. He is kind of arrogant a little bit.
A little bit
to the point that you see with me, he was never like I didn't open that door to give him the
opportunity to be arrogant.
To be arrogant, man. You know, I have a short fuse, but he is arrogant. The whole thing. But you know, when I saw him, he came and he gave me, hey, how you been? How's everything? And I'm like, yo, that fucking movie blew up. And I was like, yo, did you make money on the movie? And he was like, yeah, kinda. I'm like, bro, they had to make money on that movie. That movie was.
He didn't make any money. He made money in the lawsuit. He sued Warner Brothers.
Wow.
Because the movie's actually David Packows. Mm-hmm. That's David Packows' version of their story. Mm-hmm. So
that was the other guy.
Yeah, so he sold his life rights to Warner Brothers. They made the movie. Mm-hmm. And then Deveroli got out and sued Warner Brothers, and they settled with him. Mm-hmm. And so he got a check from that. And then I sued Deveroli, and then we settled.
Really?
Oh, listen, I mean, I can't get in it right now, but I mean, trust me, it's a whole fucking thing. Like I was in there with him. I wrote the fucking story. He wrote his memoir. He published it. He sued Warner. Then I sued him.
Yeah, he was with me. We were there at the halfway house in TGK in Miami.
Yeah. I got out and sued him and settled the case. Went down to Miami and negotiated. And he and I had we negotiated a settlement at the Pink Pony, yelling at each other back and forth over the fucking strippers. I'm fresh out of the halfway house. Wow. I was living in someone's spare room.
Wow, fresh out.
Yeah. He's made a ton of money. He's making tons of money right now.
I don't even know what he's doing now.
I do. He's trust me.
I know it's not legal though.
No, it's legal. It's
legal.
Yeah. What he does is he buys. So if you have a lawsuit, let's say you got into a car accident. And the lawyer's saying, "Hey, it's worth $1 million," and he comes in and he's like, "Look, I can give you $100,000 right now, and I'll take half the settlement or whatever. I don't know what the terms are, whatever it is. I promise you." And he's just fucking making tons of money. Plus, I'm sure he's got 10 other things he's doing. Listen, there's one thing about him: he's a hustler. I mean, on it all the time, nonstop, 24 hours a day, hustling, arguing about every single thing. He doesn't feel he doesn't negotiate a deal where he doesn't come out on top.
Right.
Every single time. It's horrible. I mean, it's horrible. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
but
it's
I'm
a
just
bad
saying,
way to do business. You know what I mean?
He doesn't feel good.
Right.
Unless he feels he screwed the other guy over.
That's bad business, though.
That is bad business, but that's how he is. And he's one of those guys who will tell you, like, look, I'd sit there and go, yeah, bro, but I mean, how many bridges are you burning? And he goes, there's lots of bridges.
Wow.
Like he's not worried about running out of bridges to burn.
That's crazy.
But so when you got out, what did you do so how long were you in the halfway house?
A year.
A year?
Yeah.
Man, I got 7 months.
I did.
I did 13 years. I got 7 months.
Yeah, I did.
You got lucky.
I did a year.
Did you do it the whole time in the halfway house, or did you go home on home confinement?
No, bro. I didn't get to go home at all.
I don't think that's bad. I didn't want to.
I wanted to go home.
No, see, everybody wants to go home. I didn't want to because the way I looked at it,
it's a setup.
There was just no way I was going to. I know it sucks in the halfway house. Like everybody, it sucks. One, I didn't really have any place to go, and two, I think I was given 25% of my gross to the halfway house, and everybody's like, "These guys are robbing us." Where the fuck am I gonna live? Where they're feeding me 3 times a day? I have a roof over my head. Right. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not on 25% of what I make. Like, it's not a bad deal.
But are you from here or are you from Miami? You're not from Miami. You're from Broward.
No, I was in Tampa. I was in the Tampa halfway house. Okay. I live in Tampa, but I didn't have anywhere to go. Keep in mind, the only person I had where I could go to is...
But you're originally from Broward, right?
No, I'm from Hillsborough. I'm from here. I'm from Tampa.
Oh, so you're from Tampa.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it's been... I was on the run 3 years. Mm-hmm. I was in prison for 13. My mother lives in a retirement community. Can't go there. I refuse to go live with my sister. And then, who else have I got? Like what? My ex-wife? I'm pretty sure her new husband doesn't want me living in their spare room. Right. He barely tolerates me now. When I say hi, I say, "Hey, what's up?" He goes, I'm one of those. Right. So I had nowhere to go. And I was able to save money. And I also worked 70, 80 hours a week, right? Like I was able to make minimum wage, 70, 80 hours a week working at a gym. Right. So it wasn't bad. I was able to just stockpile as much money as I can. Right. And work on, my ultimate kind of, I had a couple of different goals. And, you got to work on all of them, right? Like you got to bust your ass. Yeah. And you spent what? You spent what, 3-4 years laying in bed, daydreaming about what you were going to do when you got out?
It's crazy, man. Now that I've been out, I think 12 years. I've been out 12, 13 years. And I don't want to say I don't feel the same hunger anymore. I think once you get out and you make so much money legally, I don't want to say I'm content. You know what I mean? I'm not content, But when I got out, man, I was a motherfucker. I didn't stop, bro.
I had this did you hear? Did I tell you this? I had this conversation with Jess, as my wife, literally 4 or 5 days ago. Wow. We were sitting on the couch. We were talking about working out. We haven't worked out in 6 months. We're eating like dog shit. Right. It's fucking horrible. We're both laying there after we just eaten a ton of food. Right. Complaining, watching TV, complaining. And I looked at her and I said, I am so undisciplined. I said, do you have any fucking idea? I said, I was a beast when I got out of the halfway house. I was waking up at 4 a.m, jogging 3 miles. Me too. Going to the gym. I'm starting my day at 6 or 7 in the morning when everybody's still waking out, rolled out of bed. But working until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, going to bed, starting it over again, and doing it every single day. I'm working every single day, and I did that for years.
Well, let me tell you, when I got out, I would do 1,000 push-ups a day.
But once I started making money, you started making money, and that enthusiasm drops down, the discipline drops down. We're disgusted. My wife and I are disgusted with ourselves. Disgusted. But I told her, I said, do you understand? I said that all of my enthusiasm and discipline has just seeped out of me. And she said, we got to do something. We got to get back.
When I got out, I remember I would do 1,000 push-ups a day. I would wake up at 5, 6, go for a jog. I would watch what I ate. Everything was like a routine. When you start making money, you just forget about the fundamentals. You forget about, the count time and, keep your bunk made. The other day I was in a rush and I remember I left, my wife makes the bed every morning. And I remember I was in a rush. She already had left. And I remember I just left without making the bed. And I come back maybe like 2-3 hours later and I'm like, wow, it's just, so many years that you make your bed, you put your shoes on the corner.
I'm not quite there yet. It's only been 6 years.
That you've been out? I've been out 2013.
So I still, the bed, like I don't walk out of the room. My wife goes downstairs to get the coffee. She comes back up. We drink our coffee. As soon as I roll out of bed, boom, I make the bed. You make the bed, you take a shower. But I'm close.
No, but you start seeing little things and you're like, damn. And then you catch yourself. And I'm like, it's just so much shit. I become so lazy, man. In that sense, like my wife does everything, but like before, I would make the bed, put my clothes, this. Bro, I don't do shit, bro.
Yeah, I was a machine. I was a machine when I got out.
The gym, bro. I forgot fucking what machines are for what. Muscle. I'm fucking. The other day, it's crazy. The other day I started stretching because I almost pulled a muscle. Remember, our body before, like my body was different. Now it's like if I drink, it takes me 3 days to recover. The next day is like nothing but soup. Then the next day is sleeping all day. And the third day is deciding what to do. It's just not the same. And my wife was like, yo, I think we should start going for a jog. So I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm not doing all that. I'm not gonna start working out. We don't have time. It's time is it's not what it used to be. So
you're in the halfway house.
Right.
What was your goal? What was your plan or your goal in the halfway house to get back?
So let me tell you something.
I
wrote a list, right? You know, with 48 laws of power, the art of war, all these things. You gotta have a plan.
Yeah.
Right? I wrote, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Within 6 months, everything that I had wrote on that list, I did it. The 10 things. Because when I got out, I went directly to my mom's house. Right? But when I got out, everybody blessed me. Like, my cousin gave me a car. My other cousin gave me $10,000. So what I did, I went to my mother's house. I got everything. The list was like, get your own house, an apartment, get a car, get clothes, get your life together, get a job, get everything within. I wrote 10 goals. Within 6 months, I did everything. I had a good job. I had my apartment. I had a car. I had clothes. I was doing well. And it's crazy because the job that I got, like the dude had did prison time. And I remember I went and I talked to him straight up. I said, listen, bro, I'm not a criminal. I'm not a bad person. Give me a shot. I promise you I won't let you down. And he gave me a shot. And I worked for him for like a few years. And I learned the game and I went and I opened up my own mattress store. I worked at Mattress One. Worked at Mattress One. The guy was, he lost everything now. You know, it's a hell of a drug. They lost everything, but he gave me a shot. He gave me like when I got out, he actually helped me rehabilitate myself, come into society. And he's like, bro, how do you so good? I'm like, yo, you don't understand that I come from being on a compound. You walk and you talk about what you're gonna do. I would just stand outside the store and look at the trees. And he's like, what's wrong with this guy? And I'm admiring the little things that I took for granted. The opening the refrigerator. Bro, when I got out, I remember the first month, I didn't have no experience in mattresses. And I sold like $80,000 in sales. Just because I was just like so happy to be alive and be free and be given a second chance to society. You know what I mean? And I just grew with the company. I went from a salesman to a manager, from a manager to a district manager to running the whole Miami. And one night on one of my benches, I remember this is maybe like 3 weeks right before I got popped. One night at one of the parties that I was having in my house, I would have parties all the times. I grabbed you know how normally when you go to the bank and you get some come with a yellow or a blue tape around 10,000. I put $50,000 in a coffee can and I buried it outside of my house. I even did like the whole, you remember the movie The Goonies? I counted the steps and everything and I buried the money. When I get pinched like 3 weeks later, yeah, more or less 3 weeks later, when I get arrested, I forgot about that money till I was already locked up for a while. And then it hit me. I was so high that day. I'm like, oh, shit. I remember burying this money. And when I got out, I didn't know how to go back to get that money. When I go back to look.
Because the house is sold?
Yeah, I lost the house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that house, the feds took that house.
Yeah. So you got to go into somebody else's backyard?
Somebody else's backyard, bro. And the thing is, no, this is like a movie. The person, when I got out, the person who bought my house, there was a police car outside of my house. So I don't know if the husband or the wife or somebody in the house has a police car. So when I went back, I'm looking at the house like, bro, I drive off. I've actually passed 4 times before I decided, no, bro, this is my house. I know my house. And it was crazy because about when I did the Johnny Mitchell show, that house was for sale. I was trying to buy that house back. I was trying to buy it like now that I'm legit and this and that. And they had the house they were selling the house for almost $5 million. And I was like, yo, that's a lot of vegan chicken.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when I owned that house, I paid $600,000 for it. And it was valued at like when they took the house from me, my house was valued like at $1 million. And I paid $600,000 for it. And I almost paid it cash. I paid that house off within 6 months. I paid $600,000. I had a hookup with the bank, and it was like $50,000 here, $60,000 here. I had the house paid off before a year was up.
So you drove by the house 4 times?
Maybe 5.
Okay.
And it was a police car, and I was like, damn, bro, my luck. But it was the only way for me to start over was with money, and I knew it was crazy the way I buried it and everything. I was like, 50,000 could start anybody a new life. And I felt that I had to jump the gate. It was crazy, man. Like, I jumped that gate. That not even an Olympic jump. Like, I couldn't do that jump again for $1 million. I walked on air, bro. It was a once in a million. I was there all night digging. It was crazy. I was digging, and right when this is how the devil works. I was digging, the light turns on to my room, to the bathroom. So I'm down there. I'm like, damn, the sun's about to come up. I'm like, it's crazy because all the person in the house, the people in the house, all they had to do was look out the window. They would have seen me digging.
Right.
They would have seen the pool, and they would have seen all the holes all around you know what I mean? So if I wouldn't have found it, and that's when the adrenaline kicks in, that I'm like, damn, bro, it's like, how do I make this? If I leave, they're gonna dig and find it. And I remember the sun was already coming out. I remember I'm like, yo, the last dig, I heard the ping, the can. And all this shit about where you bury something, bro, listen, I know where I buried it. That shit moved. That shit, it was like all the way on the other side of the yard. Like, I was like, come on, bro, the tree's here. I buried it 6 steps from the tree, and you're telling me it's all the way on the other side? I don't know, man. The devil's real. But I found it, and that's how I opened up my first mattress store with those 50,000.
If you sleep hot at night, you know how disruptive that can be. Whether you're having trouble falling asleep, you're waking up sweating in the middle of the night, or all of the above, that's where Ghost Bed can help. As the makers of the coolest beds in the world, Ghost Bed is your go-to for cooling mattresses, cooling pillows, and cooling bedding. From their signature Ghost Ice fabric to patented technology that adjusts to your body's temperature, every Ghost Bed mattress is designed with cooling in mind. So whether you want a plusher mattress that cushions your shoulders and hips, or a firm option with exceptional support, your Ghost Bed will keep you cool and comfortable all night long. When you purchase a Ghost Bed mattress, your comfort is guaranteed. You can try out your mattress for 101 nights, risk-free, to make sure it's the right fit for you. Plus, they offer free shipping, and most items are shipped within 24 hours. If you're not sure which Ghost Bed is right for you, check out their mattress quiz. You'll answer a few questions and get a personalized recommendation. Just visit ghostbed.com/Cox and use code Cox at the checkout.
Eventually, I went and I opened up my own business, my own mattress store, and when I went from there, and I said, and I just blew up. I learned the game, the craft, and I took off. And then, now what I do is the vegan food. It's a lifestyle. I live by it.
How'd that develop?
Bro, in prison, we eat a lot of nasty food. A lot of people, I don't know what it was, but I never had problems like, when I got out of prison, I got out with a fucked up gallbladder. I don't know why. I diagnosed myself. I thought I had acid reflux because I used to eat everything. When you're locked up, you have to use seasonings to give the food flavors.
Right.
So I used to eat, when I got out, I would eat everything with hot sauce, tobacco, and I would get stomach pains, and I'm like, oh, that's acid reflux. Take Pepto-Bismol, Zantac, and it'll go away. At the time, my ex-wife, one day I was coughing up blood. My father died 3 months before me getting out of prison. Mm. Cancer runs in my family. My father died from cancer. I started coughing up blood one day. My ex-wife told me, those are symptoms of cancer. That's the only reason why I even went to the hospital. I went to the hospital, and the doctor said, bro, you got 4 stones in your gallbladder the size of quarters. He goes, you believe in God? I said, yeah, why? Why would you ask me something like that? He goes, because if one of those explodes inside of you, you're going to internally bleed out. The only one that could save you is God, because I can't do nothing for you. And it all started from that day. The doctor was vegan, a black gentleman. He had been a doctor for 30 years, and he's been vegan 15. And I remember I was on morphine. I was hanging out. I was like, don't let me go, doc. I got kids. I'm like, I got Blue Cross Blue Shield. I'm like, I got a PPO. Don't let me go. And the guy just told me off the rip. He's like, no, I know you got good health insurance, because if not, I wouldn't be here. So he gave it to me blood raw and uncut. And I'm like, whoa, what a way to break the ice. And I'm like, yo, I got kids. And we got cool. We still talk to today. It's crazy. But he told me, he's like, if you want to live, man, eat healthy. He goes, they're trying to control the population, but what we put in our body. He started giving me the whole thing about alkaline and how, all these man-made diseases.
So did you have surgery?
Yeah, they took the gallbladder out. That's why I can't lose weight for shit. Yo, it's like, the thing.
You're skipping all these
Hey,
parts,
yo, the thing with Matt gives me interrogation vibe. Like, he'll ask me something and I'll answer it, and then he's like, no, but I don't want you to answer it like that. It's like this. So they take it out. That's why I can't lose weight. I try to lose weight. But the gallbladder is the filter to the body. Bro, you're a smart guy, man. You're gonna give me the whole definition of how the gallbladder.
Pretty sure if you consumed less calories, you'd lose weight.
Bro, listen, I don't even eat sometimes. Like, I fast a lot. I clear my body out from toxins and things like that. I don't eat till the sun comes down. Not for nothing religious. People are like, are you Muslim? No, I'm not Muslim. It's none of that. I just don't eat till the sun goes down sometimes to cleanse your body. It's my belief. You know what I mean?
I saw a TikTok the other day. It's fucking sorry, this cracked me up. This woman felt like her husband, like something was wrong. She's like, it literally takes him 15 minutes to get home.
No.
And then she said, over the last month or so, it's been taking 30 to 45 minutes for him to get home. She's like, he comes home and he's happy and he's this and he's that. She's like, I just knew something was wrong. So she ends up getting, I don't know if she hired somebody or somebody to follow him.
Right.
Because she just knew he was seeing somebody. She knew it.
Right.
And he was driving home and he was going to like Five Guys or something. He'd like a hamburger and just sitting in his car eating it and then he put it down and then he'd drive home and be like, hey baby, what's going on? And she was like, this is what this man's doing. Wow. He is cheating. He's eating fucking food.
Fucking, it's real.
So okay, but how does that turn into? So you're gonna eat better. Okay, well, how does that turn into?
Well, no, the whole thing is.
Can't you just eat better? Do you have to open a restaurant?
Because it's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. A lot of the things that, okay, for example, pork takes 7 days to digest out of your system, right? Spanish people, it's in our culture to eat. They program you since you're a kid to eat beans, that you need beans, pork and steak and all these things to survive. It's all bullshit. You get more protein from a bowl of beans that costs you $1.59 at Publix than a 16-ounce steak that you pay $50 for at a dinner. It's the truth. You get more protein from a bowl of beans. But we're ignorant. We don't see like for example, you go to all these high-end places and you eat lobster and shrimp. Lobster and shrimp are the cockroaches of the sea. A lot of people don't know that the shrimp, they're normally black, gray. They just paint them pink. They put dye on them to give them a better look, because if they were gray or black, you wouldn't want to put that in your mouth. Pause. I just say this to say that. It's a lot of things that if you start looking, before, people used to live to 90 to 100 years old, easy. Now out of 10 people, 7 don't make it past 65. But the retirement, to retire and get your Social Security in America, you have to be 65 years old. So out of 10 people that have been paying their Social Security and all these things for all these years that they're going to live to retire, out of 10, 7 don't even make it to 65. So it's the things that you put in your body. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you look at all the foods now, they're poisoning us. I want to say they're poisoning us because, for example, there's these big companies selling watermelon with no seeds. When have you seen a watermelon with no seeds? Walmart, there was a big scandal with Walmart. How do you get a water? These are all generic made things. They got the mystery chicken. They're genetically. Bro, you got a chicken that Monday, it's a little baby chicken, and then Tuesday you come and it's a chicken and it looks like a full-blown Frenchie. And it was a baby chick on Monday.
I feel like that's an exaggeration.
No, bro.
Maybe a few weeks.
No,
not,
bro.
Not in 24 hours.
I'm telling you, I'll send you some pictures. Be like, what? I'll send you some videos that Matt will be eating vegan burgers all week. Like, yo, listen, in the beginning, bro, like, I don't believe shit till it happens to me, right? Like, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I believe in Bigfoot, all that shit, right? I believe that they only tell us what they want us to know. Right, because we can't handle the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Well, okay. That's why you wanted to open. So you wanted to open one because you wanted to.
No, I almost died from my gallbladder. These are all my grandmother's recipes too, by the way. I was just the one that had the money. I funded the operation. My grandmother's been vegan for 57 years. Okay. She just turned 93 years old. She could stretch better than me and you put together. My grandmother's 93. She walks a mile every morning and a mile at night. She looks like she's 52 years old and she's 93 years old. She's all there.
So you started a vegan restaurant?
I started a vegan restaurant because she owned a very famous spot in New York. And when back then being vegan was being weird. You tell somebody you're vegan, they're like, oh my God, you're what? When I started to eat healthy, like the first thing I cut off before I knew I was gonna go vegan, I cut off the pork because that's the worst thing you could put in your body, for real. And
I had some snacking bacon from
you're going to hell, man. I'm over here giving you a testimony of why I became vegan.
What is it? From Dunkin' Donuts all the way here. They call it snacking bacon.
I know what you're talking about.
And they dip it in honey, and then they. I mean, it's worth a few years off my life, bro. I mean, it's. No, listen, I must have listen. I probably had 6 pieces of bacon yesterday at. Do you have the what's the breakfast restaurant? First Watch.
Yeah,
it's good, bro.
You know, it's crazy though. The main guy that started First Watch is like a friend of mine, and he started it with his mother's money.
Talk to him about it, the bacon. Because they got big, thick bacon.
No, but if I tell you that guy's story, that guy's another, bro. He deserves everything he has. Real talk to him. My boy Manny. He deserves everything he has. You know what I mean? He comes from nothing as well. Great redemption story. He didn't go to prison or nothing like that, but he's had a rough life.
So how did you start? You started. What was it? Is it a location or it's a truck? You got a truck or what?
Well, I started this in 2017, right before the pandemic, right? I started it in my mattress store. I used the parking lot outside because I was looking for a restaurant storefront, and everything in that area is $20,000 a month, $15,000 a month. And I'm like, yo, grandma, if this shit don't work, I'm going to take away your 401k. You know what I mean? Taking your Social Security. I'm taking all that. Like, it was a lot of money to start up a restaurant. And the way I wanted to do it, I wanted to do it big. I wanted to do like a vegan sports bar, like a Hooters, but vegan. And nobody wanted to help me with it. And I'm like, yo, you know what? What do you need for a vegan? What do you need for a restaurant, period? A roof, tables, chairs, a kitchen. That's it. So I thought old school with it. Like I told you, I still had that drive, that motivation outside of my mattress store. I parked the truck. I put a big tent over it. I put tables, chairs. I started off with one. And within a year, I opened up 3. And then within 3 years, I had 8. And then
this is all in Miami.
All in Miami. You know, now we do have what's the correct word? We have other cities that we're going to, you know, right now. But we're all doing like brick and mortars, drive-throughs, little restaurants, little holes in the wall. That's the whole goal, is to be like a McDonald's. But the thing is, it's not even about us growing, because we have a real good team. It's just, this is all family recipes. We make everything in-house. We make the bread, we make the meat, we make the chicken. Everything is grandma's recipes. I think our chicken tastes better than real chicken, to be honest with you. Really do. I haven't tasted real chicken in a long time, but I think it tastes better for the vegetarian people. Our meat, we make it out of mushroom and cauliflower. We season it for 48 hours, and it tastes like a Five Guys burger. So all these people that have problems with cholesterol or losing weight or they're diabetic. You know, I have a friend that doesn't believe in nothing. And 35 years old, young, diabetic, was having problems with his junk. He came to me and he's like, yo, listen, my doctor told me that I should become vegan. And he's telling me that he's diabetic. I'm like, oh, well, look, let's do this. Let me give you, this is a childhood friend. I said, I'm going to give you 3 meals every day for 3 months. If it doesn't help your diabetes, bro, you can spit at me in the face. That's what I told him. And if it works within the 3 months, you got to give me 10 grand for those 3 months. I'm going to give you lunch, breakfast, and dinner. This guy said, all right, deal. We do the deal. Not even 3 months. I think it was 6 weeks later, he went to his doctor that gives him the pills and the insulin, his shots and this and that. He said he doesn't see the diabetes anymore in his bloodstream. He said, you don't have diabetes anymore. It's only been 6 weeks. Remember, there's no money in cures, Matt. There's only money in medication. That's why there's a CVS in every corner. Those are the real drug dealers that have trap houses. Why do you think there's a Walgreens and a CVS? I learned that from a pharmacist that works at CVS the other day. He comes to one of my spots, and we start talking, and he's like,
the spots.
They're the real drug dealers. They're the real trap stars. Me and him are talking. He's like, why do you think there's a CVS and a Walgreens? I said, because they're the biggest. He goes, no. He goes, they're not making money on the stuff inside. Everybody sells the toothpaste the same price. Walmart, all the big guys sell it for the same price. Lowe's, right? He goes, you think that they're making money on the stuff inside? I said, no. I said, and they're paying at least $20,000, $25,000 in rent. He goes, it's because they make money from the prescription drugs in the window. If I listened to half of the shit my father would tell me, man, I would have been very well off.
I feel like that with my ex-wife. My ex-wife. Oh, listen, every time I trusted somebody or anything, every time she was like, listen, stop talking to that person. Here's why. And I'd be like, no, not Gretchen.
Yeah.
Gretchen and Pete, we're friends.
Yeah.
We go on vacation together. She would never.
Right.
She's like, telling you, you don't understand. They got busted. They're going to work with the cops. They're going to this. No, they would never.
Yeah.
We babysit each other. We're on vacation. We're friends. Parties. We went to the party last week. She knew. Like, and this is not once.
It's a gift, bro. It's a gift.
Multiple times. Because she also was Puerto Rican.
Okay.
She had an uncle who'd been arrested for drugs and went to prison. So she knows how the system works and how everything works. I have no clue.
Right.
I'm upper middle class white kid. Like, no, we're friends.
Yeah.
Never.
We like each other.
I saw Godfather. He won't say anything.
That's it's crazy because now my wife tells me things all the time and I look at her and I'm like, shit. 9 out of 10, she's right.
Yeah. Well, they can see
They have
things that they're outside the box. They can see things that you don't see. You're clouded by. I'm clouded by friendship and all kinds of things, and they see that person and they're like, eh.
Well, you know it's crazy, man. So not that long ago, I still believe that there was good people out there. You know, to not that long ago, I really believe people still had the morals and the loyalty. And
well, I think so. I think I'm not saying that people aren't good people. I just think that they're not going to go to jail for you. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. They're definitely not going to go to jail for you, but I don't think that there's a lot of good people left out there. I like animals more than I like people, to be honest with you. There's no more loyalty. From back in the day, how we grew up, that somebody will do 5, 10 years in prison for their friend and won't say nothing, and a ride or die. I have a friend right now that he's locked up. Me and my wife fight all the time, and he's loyal like a Doberman. It's my brother. Send the money every week. And my wife was like, no, leave him in there. He's not going to change because he goes to jail all the time.
Right.
He's in and out. He goes to jail more than Bobby Brown. I tell him all the time. I'm like, this guy, he'll get out. He'll come work for me for about 3-4 months, get locked up. I got to bond him out.
I got a buddy right now, Zach. Since he got out, he's been locked up 2 more times on fraud charges. I send him money. My wife's, what are you doing? Why do you have a soft spot for this guy?
Yeah.
He keeps committing fraud. I'm like, oh, he just needs to if he could just get on his feet.
Yeah, yo. So this is the conversation with me and her. I'm like, no, he's gonna change this jail time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, he's gonna come out different.
I talked to him on the phone. No, I can hear it in his voice. I'm telling him, like, listen, I can hear it in his voice. This time really changed him. Like, this is really, and she just looks at me like,
wow,
you dumbass motherfucker. You send him, what are you doing? You're sending him $200? Well, it's commissary. He's coming up and he needs $200.
Yo, my wife is so petty that she blocks my credit card so I can't pay for the phone anymore.
Oh my.
Yo, so I gotta call friends of mine like, yo, send me your credit card. I'm gonna pull up on you. My wife blocked every credit card.
Listen, I got one better. I got a phone call from him about a month and a half ago. And he's like, listen, he had paid his attorney, whatever it was, like first he got an attorney, paid her like $5,000. This is state. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. It's a minor fraud charge, right? $5,000 just to handle whatever. $5,000. And then come to find out, the guy that was supposed to pay the $5,000 didn't pay it. He paid $3,000 and made one payment. He still owes $1,500. He made one payment of $500. So he paid $3,000 plus a $500 payment. So he still owes $1,500. But of course, there's they charge you for like copies and all that shit going. Yeah. So it ends up being like $1,600 and something, $1,680 or something. So he calls me and says, "Listen, man, I'm so sorry. I can't believe you have no idea." I'm like, yeah. Let's get through that. You got 15 minutes. Let's wrap it up. What is it? What do you need? And he's like, I feel so bad. I'm like, oh my God, what is it? How much? And he's like, my lawyer. And when he said lawyer, I thought, oh hell no.
Oh,
fucking,
that's $10,000 right there. Good one.
He explained it. I was like, yeah, okay. And he explained, look, this and that. And I went, oh, listen, fuck, I don't know if I can just pay that. Like, he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I mean, I only have so much money that's in my account. I only have this. Like, I'd have to go and ask. I'd have to ask for that. But I'm like, wait a minute. Does she take credit cards? He's like, yeah, I think you can go on like the portal and pay with your credit card. I was like, perfect. I could pay. Jess will never know.
Right.
My wife will never know.
Right.
Did I tell you this, Colby? So I go on, I figure it out, and I keep on. I usually have to ask her to do anything,
right?
Because I don't want to go on. It's like, fuck. Can you figure this out? How do I do this? Can you order the plane ticket? Because I don't want to go on the site. I hate doing that shit. So I go on, I figure it out.
Right.
$1,680. Okay, got it. Put the credit card in. Goes through. Boom, paid it. Nice.
Right.
Print the receipt. It sends me a receipt. I print the receipt.
Right.
Perfect. Got the receipt. I'm good. I'm telling you, bro, my wife, fucking one day, not even 24 hours. Not even 24 hours. I'm outside doing something.
Right.
And she comes walking out and she goes, who's Kimberly such and such? Attorneys at law. And I'm like, she's like, are we paying for an attorney for something? And I went, fuck. I go, how? What? And my thought is, she's going, how do you have access to my shit? How did you figure that out, right?
Right.
Like, she didn't have my
personal card or
my app on her phone, like for my how. And she goes, oh no, she said, I went to go print something, and you left the receipt on the such and such. She goes, why are we paying an attorney $1,700? And I'm like. And I went, fucking Zach, she's like, what's wrong with you?
I get caught with the most dumbest shit. Like I'm talking to him and I get home, so I'm in the car talking to him. I'm like, yo, look, I just got to the home and I'm like, it's 13 minutes. We got 2 more, right? So I'm like, yo, look, don't call me today because I'm gonna be home. He'll call me 20 minutes later. I'm like, shit, here we go. Now we argue about this guy all the time, but he's like a brother, man. He's one of the ones. The reason why I'm in the paint with him so hard, man, and I just can't turn my back on this guy is because he's loyal, man. He's ride or die. He's one of the old from back in the day that I believe he'll take a bullet for me. And that's where, to me, it's priceless, man. $100 a week that I send him, bro, that's not real money. Or I put money in his phone. It's
Yeah, with Zach, I don't know about him taking a bullet for me, but I do know
he'll get ran over for you at least.
I do know I was locked up for 3 years with him in the medium, and those the 2.5. It was almost 3 years, really. He was only gone a few months when he went back on a 2255, which is a motion.
He was your bunkie.
No, but he was in another unit, but we're talking about eating almost every meal, walking the track, like
working out.
He shaved 30% of my time because if you have somebody you can hang out with, like your time is much easier.
No.
If you have somebody that you can go meet and walk the track and have conversation with. This is the medium, bro. Like there's maybe it's 80% black, almost, whatever, let's say 19% Hispanic. There's maybe 30 guys on the compound that are white guys, and all of them are there for making in a bathtub that's in a fucking single wide. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk to you. And I'll never forget one of my favorite things. This sums you up what these guys are like.
Right.
This is a statement, a literal statement from a white guy there. Guy's a fucking genius. Best I ever had. What am I going to talk to this guy about? He's got no teeth.
My mother's a good kisser.
Yeah, I mean, this horrible, bro. So, I mean, Zach he's a guy, he was there for fraud, and we talked fucking all the time. He just made so he got out. I've tried to help him over and over again. Colby tried to help him. He keeps going back to jail. But I do feel like this time's different. I do feel like this time he's going to
my friend just lost the eye. He just lost the eye in jail. So I'm trying to get him a lawyer.
See if different jail. I was at a different jail.
So this guy, my friend is very short tempered. So he got into a fight with a guy about the phone, right? And the guy hits him with the phone, hits him in a vein, and he lost his eye. My friend lost his eye. Jesus. So now, I call my attorneys, and my attorneys are like, bro, you got so much shit going on. You're calling me about a friend that lost his eye in jail. And they're like, look, man, our job is to protect you, but we can't protect you from yourself. He's like, leave your friend alone. He just lost an eye. So I'm thinking my wife's going to feel bad. She knows him.
Check.
She don't give a fuck. My girl's like, he lost an eye. He's still not going to change. And I'm like, bro, you got to have some compassion. The guy just lost an eye, just got out of surgery. I'm like, I'm accepting this call thinking she's not going to say nothing. Bro, serial killer instincts. It's not going to change. Put a patch on that shit. It's crazy, man.
So you got 5 trucks. Are they all in?
Oh no! Right now, so the whole thing. I just went through a divorce. We started a new brand. It's called On the Run Vegan. You know what I mean? We have a spot in Kendall. We have a spot in Wynwood, and we're opening up another one right now. We're on the works of opening up the third one. So it's on social media. It's On the Run or On the Run Vegan Wynwood.
What happened to the old one?
Divorce, my brother.
She's running them?
No. It's just
you sold them. They just closed everything down.
We just divorced. It was just big man. It's cheaper to keep her, my brother. Don't get divorced.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that right now. It's the best advice. Nah, it was a lot. She tried to go after the name, the brand, and do not negotiate with terrorism. You know what I mean?
So if people want to find you,
On the Run Vegan on all platforms. On the Run Vegan Wynwood on TikTok, Facebook, on all the platforms.
And you got merchandise.
And we got merchandise. We got the sauces soon that we're gonna sell online. Hats, clothes, workout outfits, the whole nine. Get you right. I'm gonna send you a shirt, Matt.
Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Also, if you want to follow Alex and go to the website and check out his social medias and follow, go into the description box. We're going to leave all of his links there. Also, please consider joining our Patreon. And if you want to be a guest, we're going to leave a link to our website, which you can go to, and you can fill out a form and leave a short video, and we'll get in touch with you. Thank you very much. See ya.